I know that you say Charlo has said things and called you out. Is there something in particular that annoyed you?
Yeah, that motivate me. That kind of things motivate myself because I have the opportunity to show why I'm one of the best and why I'm here because he never believed in my skills and now I have the opportunity to show him. I don't know what happened with him because he always talks about me and he always calling me out and say things about me and right now he's like trying to be nice.
Breaking news came out of Canelo Alvarez explaining why he will never fight the Mexican monster David Benavidez for simply disrespecting him, just like the rest of the other fighters he fought, Billy Joe Saunders, Lara, etc., etc., etc. Here is exactly what Canelo Alvarez had to say. Check it out.
If somebody's going to disrespect me, I don't want to punish them in the ring and beat them up and say, hey, here's, all this money, because everyone always makes their career high payday facing you, right?
Yeah, you're right.
How much of the way David Benavidez approached you with disrespect as you saw it was a reason for that you didn't want to fight him?
Yeah, it's at this point I fight with everybody, with every champion, with all the best out there, and when somebody approach you like that and call you out like that, you don't need to give them money. So, and like I say, I can do whatever I want now, and just I don't like the way he approached for taking the fight.
Do you think Terrence Crawford is approaching you in the proper way?
I think he's wanted the fight and doing respectful, I want Canelo. No, nothing bad, saying bad things about me or whatever, no. But like I say, you never know too. Maybe someday I wake up and I say I want to beat that guy, right?
Yeah, and look, you've earned this. You've earned this right.
Yeah.
With all you've done for the sport, you're the face of boxing. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
And I understand you've earned this respect. So you give respect for everyone. You're a respectful guy, and you want respect back.
Yeah. I always respect my opponents and every single fighter, every single people. Obviously, if they don't, okay, it's different, no. But yeah, I always try to respect people, respect the fighters, respect my opponents. I'm not that kind of guy. I never go into a fight or into bad things with people. But if somebody disrespect me, that's different.
Yeah, and look, you're 34 now.
Just to be clear, this reporter, Mike Coppinger, that was conducting the interview, he is mad racially biased. To the point where he was asking Canelo a question and he answered the question for Canelo before he asked him the question. I mean, he didn't even stop there. He was doing more talking than Canelo to continue pushing his personal racial agenda and his narrative. I actually tried to sit down and watch the interview, but I couldn't. Since the interview was so terrible, it was like watching Mike Coppinger interview himself instead of Canelo. We want to hear what Canelo has to say, not what you have to say. After all, who cares what a racist reporter thinks? But you guys heard it, how Mike Coppinger set up the question with the excuse to give Canelo Alvarez a pass for ducking David Benavidez. Now here's the funny part. Canelo, he is so desperate and trying to find a new excuse every day to justify why he ducked David Benavidez and has been ducking him for over a half a decade. Canelo, he attached himself to that excuse quicker than a heartbeat by claiming the reason why he don't want to fight Benavidez is because Benavidez is too disrespectful and he doesn't want to give Benavidez a payday. Now, let's stop there and go ahead and completely debunk these excuses by Canelo Alvarez and old media. First of all, are we going to pretend that we forgot Canelo said to Jermell Charlo, yeah, I like when fighters talk trash because it motivates me more. Now all of a sudden, he's not motivated to fight Benavidez because he's talking shit to him. Excuse my French. But when Billy Joe Saunders was talking trash, when Caleb Plant was talking trash, when Floyd Mayweather was talking trash, when Lara was talking trash, when Angulo was talking trash, when Cricklin was talking trash, when Jermell Charlo was talking trash, Canelo said he liked it. Matter of fact, he liked it more because it motivated him more to fight these guys. But now all of a sudden, because Benavidez is doing the same thing Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, and all these guys that Canelo already fought, some way, somehow, that disqualified Benavidez from getting the Canelo Alvarez fight, even though he talked trash less than Billy Joe Saunders did. Second of all, for a long time, and I'm talking about years, Benavidez was respectfully calling Canelo out. How come Canelo didn't fight him then? Third of all, Canelo want to use the excuse, I don't want to give him a payday. That's why I don't want to fight him. Well, ironically, the only one who was getting a payday was Canelo Alvarez against Benavidez. Not the other way around. Benavidez was actually going to make his minimum to fight Canelo, which is $5 million. That's it, that's all. And all of the rest of the money for the fight was going to go to Canelo. Do you guys know David Benavidez is making more against David Morrell than he would have had made against Canelo if Canelo accepted Al Haymon offer? That's right. The reason why is because Benavidez gave all of his money that he was supposed to make to Canelo so Canelo can grow the cojones to fight him. And Canelo still couldn't find his cojones to fight Benavidez, even under them circumstances of him getting all the money from the guarantee and the pay-per-view. For the people that's not informed, Al Haymon offered Canelo $70 million guaranteed to fight David Benavidez, plus 100% of the pay-per-view revenue. Not 50-50, not 60-40, not 80 nor 90-10 split when it came to the pay-per-view. Absolutely not. Canelo was getting 100% of the pay-per-view revenue and everything else. On the other hand, Benavidez was only receiving his minimum of $5 million guaranteed, which he already got paid more than that against Caleb Plant and Andre. Even against David Morrell, Benavidez is getting way more than $5 million to fight David Morrell. So clearly, this is not about a payday. The only one who was getting a payday to fight David Benavidez is Canelo, not the other way around. Canelo was the one who was going to rob the bank in that fight. There isn't any other fight at this magnitude where one fighter was making $70 million guaranteed, the other was making $5 million guaranteed, but the one who was making $70 million was getting 100% of the pay-per-view revenue, while the fighter who was only making $5 million is getting nada. Nothing, absolutely nothing. That's right, Canelo was getting 100% of the gate, 100% of the TV rights, 100% of the pay-per-view revenue, and on top of all of that, $70 million guaranteed to fight Benavidez, and he still turned down his biggest payday. So when Canelo says, I don't want to give him a payday, nah, that can't be the case since Benavidez is getting paid more to fight other guys who's way less popular than Canelo. The only one that was getting paid is Canelo Alvarez. Canelo was getting his biggest payday to fight Benavidez. However, the truth is, Canelo also knows that biggest payday comes with the biggest ass whipping of his career. A type of ass whipping that would have had possibly ended Canelo Alvarez's career. And that's why Canelo ducked Benavidez like there is no tomorrow.
They offered him $70 million to fight me. That's before paper.
When did you first set your sights on him as an opponent?
I think it was after that second Golovkin fight because he was fighting at 160 and obviously I'm at 168. So I knew it was inevitable him coming up, but I always knew that I was a problem for him because I was never at the forefront of, when he mentions the fights. It was never David Benavidez first. It was Caleb Plant, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Sanders. He never like really mentioned me. I don't know if that's like a pride thing because I'm Mexican as well and he's Mexican, or if he just really thinks I'm that much of a threat. I knew one day people were gonna ask for that fight. And it's amazing how much attention this fight is getting. And I think I'm even winning more right now the more he's putting it off. They offered him $70 million to fight me. That's before pay-per-view.
That's a real number.
That's before, yes. You guys could call Luis de Cubas, Al Heyman, and ask him that. What Canelo does, he pays the guys flat fee. They had offered me $5 million. And I said, cool.
They offered you 5.
Samson Lukowicz called us and said, before the Jaime Munguia fight, said, hey, would you guys be willing to fight only a flat fee of $5 million? You're not getting no pay-per-view, none of that. And I said, yes. We had agreed, we said yes, then we never heard back. They were calling the bait out. They wanted to see if I was gonna say yes or no. I think they thought that I was gonna say, no, I'm not gonna fight for $5 million, you know what I mean? This fight's worth way more. So, I mean, I called the bluff, I said yes, and that was the last time we ever heard about that fight. But, like I said, this fight is inevitable. You know, everybody's asking for it. This is the biggest fight that could possibly be made, and I'm not scared of Canelo. I feel like I could beat him.
With all this information in mind, the better question is, how did Mike Coppinger come up to that conclusion that Canelo doesn't want to fight Benavidez because he's talking trash and being disrespectful, when Canelo just fought Edgar Berlanga, who's even more disrespectful, for less money, and who is the same size as Benavidez on fight night? Canelo, who rehydrates 20 pounds himself, had the audacity to say Benavidez only brings 25 pounds more, but he just fought Edgar for less money. The question for Canelo is, why not fight Benavidez for all that money, the biggest payday of Canelo Alvarez's career? Especially when Benavidez is not getting none. He's only getting $5 million flat, his minimum. He's making more than that fighting Morrell. So what's the excuse? It surely can't be, I don't want to feed Benavidez, since Benavidez agreed to such a pay cut to fight Canelo to the point he makes more money fighting other fighters than he would have had made fighting Canelo. So throw that pathetic excuse out of the window. Now here is the part where Mike Coppinger exposed himself not just as a racially biased reporter, but also as the ultimate hypocrite that can't be trusted. He knows the truth. It's not like he doesn't know what's going on. This guy knows what's going on. That's what he does for a living, is report boxing news. But he's so hypocrite. He's such a hypocrite to the point where he'd rather lie than tell the truth. And that's why we don't respect Mike Coppinger. This guy, emotion comes before his professionalism. He will keep the truth to himself and lie to the public. And that's what makes him a hypocrite, not a person who contradicts himself, because the difference between a contradiction and hypocrisy, a contradiction is when you don't know. Hypocrisy is when you do know. And that's Mike Coppinger, a racial hypocrite reporter. You think Mike Coppinger doesn't know Angulo was talking mad trash to Canelo when Canelo fought him? You think Mike Coppinger doesn't know Billy Joe Sanders is one of the most disrespectful fighters of all time and Canelo still fought him? You think Mike Coppinger doesn't know that Caleb Plant, Charlo, and many more fighters that Canelo fought was talking mad trash to Canelo like Floyd? Canelo had no problem fighting those guys as the A side or B side. It doesn't matter. This guy, Mike Coppinger, is such a racist reporter to the point where he will push a narrative and an agenda that he knows it's an absolute lie. That's what's mind-blowing. You think Mike Coppinger doesn't know Benavidez is getting paid more to fight Morrell than he would have had made to fight Canelo? You think he doesn't know Canelo was the only one who was gonna make a lot of money in that fight? Well, you better think again. Your eyes doesn't lie, and when you see Canelo, you should see a duck. And when you see Mike Coppinger, you should see a racist reporter. He simply doesn't care about the facts and the truth. He only cares about his emotion and how he feels, how he racially feels. That's why he feels comfortable lying straight to your face on camera. With the opinions kicked out of the window and the facts laid out on the table, go ahead and drop your thoughts on Canelo Alvarez's pathetic excuse of ducking Benavidez for more than a half a decade. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, Akhi TV. Peace. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.